The Glass of Milk, a heartwarming tale of kindness and gratitude in a quiet town, where cobbled streets twisted through rows of small homes, there lived a poor boy named Henry. One day, after a particularly slow morning, Henry felt weak and hungry. He had been walking for hours without selling enough papers to afford food, and his stomach rumbled noisily. As he wiped the sweat from his brow, he made up his mind to ask for food at the next house. Henry approached a small, white house with blue shutters and a cheerful garden. Nervously, he knocked on the door. Moments later, a kind-looking girl with bright eyes and braided hair answered. She couldn't have been much older than Henry. "Hello," Henry said, trying to sound brave. I'm very hungry. Would you mind giving me something to eat?" The girl looked at him thoughtfully. She could tell from his worn shoes and tired expression that he had seen difficult days. Without saying a word, she disappeared into the house. Henry's heart sank, thinking she had ignored his request. But soon, she returned with a glass of fresh milk, gleaming white and cold from the kitchen. "Here," she said with a warm smile, holding out the glass. "Drink this. You look like you need it." Henry took the glass, his hands shaking slightly. "Thank you," he whispered. He drank the milk slowly, savoring every drop. It was the most refreshing thing he had tasted in days. When he finished, he reached into his pocket, fumbling for the few coins he had. "I'd like to pay for it," Henry said earnestly. But the girl shook her head. "There's no need for that," she said. "Just promise to help someone else when they need it someday." Henry nodded. "I promise," he said, his heart full of gratitude. He walked away from the little white house, feeling stronger not just from the milk, but from the kindness he had been shown. Many years passed, and Henry grew up to become a successful and skilled doctor in a bustling city. His days were filled with caring for patients from all walks of life. Though his life had changed, he never forgot the girl with the glass of milk, nor the promise he had made to help someone in need. One day, in the very same town where he had once been a hungry boy, a woman lay in a small, dim hospital room. Her face was pale, and her strength was nearly gone. She had been battling an illness for months, but no doctor had been able to help her. Unable to pay for more treatment, she had nearly given up hope. "Please," she whispered to the nurse. "There must be someone who can help me." "There's one doctor," the nurse said gently. "He's the best in town. He takes on the most challenging cases. But his services can be costly." "I'll try," the woman said weakly. "I'll find a way." The woman was soon brought to the best hospital in the city, where a tall, kind-faced doctor came to her side. It was Henry, now renowned for his skills and compassion. He examined her carefully, and though her condition was serious, he promised her that he would do everything he could to save her. Over the next few months, Henry worked tirelessly. He visited her bedside every day, ensuring she had the best treatment, medicines, and care possible. Slowly, the woman regained her strength. Her color returned to her cheeks, and the sparkle in her eyes began to shine again. She didn't know how she would pay for the treatment, but she was grateful to be alive. One day, the nurse brought her a final hospital bill in an envelope. The woman took a deep breath before opening it. She had spent many sleepless nights worrying about how she would afford it. But when she looked at the paper inside, her eyes widened in disbelief. The bill read, "Paid in full, with a glass of milk." The woman felt tears sting her eyes as she read the words again. "It can't be," she whispered, her voice trembling. At that moment, Dr. Henry stepped into the room. He smiled kindly at her and sat beside her bed. "Many years ago," Henry said softly, "a young boy came to your door, weak and hungry. You gave him a glass of milk and asked for nothing in return. That boy was me." The woman stared at him in shock, tears rolling down her cheeks. She remembered the moment vividly, the tired boy with the kind eyes, the glass of milk, and the promise he had made. "You kept your promise," she said, her voice full of gratitude. "And you kept me going when I needed it most," Henry replied. "Kindness always comes back to us, even when we least expect it." The woman smiled through her tears. In that quiet hospital room, a bond of kindness and gratitude wrapped around them like a warm embrace. From that day on, The woman told everyone she knew about the boy who had become a doctor, and the doctor who had never forgotten a single act of kindness. And Henry, whenever he helped someone in need, would remember the girl with the glass of milk who had changed his life forever.